गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपित्तजम्बो फलसारभक्षितम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणं नमामि विघ्नेश्वर पादपङ्कजम्।
Sri Vidya Jagatam Gatrim Srishtisthidhilayeswarim Namami Lalitam Nityam Bhaka Tripura Sundarim. Om Jai Shri Matre Namaha. Om I'm Dream Sri. Om Jai Shri Matre Namaha. Welcome to this sacred space of transmission. Welcome to Sri Vidya Sri Peedam Trust Life Force Academy, a living transmission of cosmic spiritual science flowing through the grace of our Guru Mandala. If you are here today, it's not a coincidence. In the science of Sri Vidya, there are no coincidences. There is no accidents. There is only the karma. And there is the grace that can dissolve it. Today, we enter one of the most profound and necessary teachings that the ancient rishis, the Siddhas, the Guru Parampara are preserved across millennia for exactly this moment in human evolution. Today, we speak about karma, and more importantly, we speak about karma Vināśana, the sacred science of burning the bondage of karma and reclaiming the freedom of your true consciousness. Sit comfortably, breathe deeply, open your heart and ears, close your eyes. This is a teaching that has the power to change everything. Let me begin with a question that you may have asked yourself in the quiet hours of the night. Why does life feel like this? Why do certain patterns keep returning no matter how hard I work, no matter how much I pray, no matter how sincerely I try to move forward? Why does the same financial struggle appear again and again? Why do relationships repeat the same painful cycles? Why does illness linger in certain family lineages? Why do certain fears, certain emotional shadows seem to have no rational origin, yet the grip you so deeply, right? Why does one person seems to move through life with flow and grace, while another equally sincere, equally devoted, faces obstacle after obstacles? Why it is? Modern psychology offers partial answers. The modern psychology offers partial answers. The modern medicine offers the symptomatic relief. Symptomatic relief, right? Modern success culture offers strategies and mindsets, but none of them reach the root of the incident, the root of the cause. Because the root is not in the mind you can analyze. The root is not in the body you can treat. The root is not in the year you were born, the city you were raised in, or the circumstances you can recall. The root lies in something far deeper, far older, and far more pervasive. The root lies in karma. In the 17th century, Sir Isaac Newton formulated what became one of the most fundamental laws of classical physics. That is, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. This is the Newton's third law of motion. It describes how the physical universe operates. Push against a wall, the wall pushes back with equal force. Fire a rocket, the exhaust pushes down, the rocket rises up. The universe always seeks equilibrium. Newton discovered this law in the realm of matter, the world of physical forces and objects. But thousands of years before Newton, in the forest of the Himalayas, the caves along the sacred rivers, in the inner laboratories of meditative absorption, the rishis and the siddhas has already discovered a far deeper dimension of this sample. The rishis and the siddhas have already discovered a far deeper dimension of this same principle, not in matter, but in consciousness itself. They called it as karma. The karma is Newton's third law operating at the level of physical forces, but at the level of thought, intention, emotion, speech, and action within the field of universal consciousness. Every thought you have sent into the field of existence creates a vibrational impression. Every emotion you have released, whether in joy or in anguish, leaves its mark in the subtle fabric of reality. Every word spoken, every intention held, every action performed generates a corresponding wave that must eventually return to restore the balance. This is not punishment system designed by the judging God. This is not a morality play imposed from outside. Karma is the self Karma is the self-correcting intelligence of consciousness itself. It is the universe profound and impersonal commitment to equilibrium, to ensuring that the energy released always returns, always completes, always seeks its resolution. The rishis saw, the rishis saw this with absolute clarity. They mapped it, they measured it in the ways that our instrument cannot yet reach, and they discovered something even more extraordinary. They discovered the karma could be dissolved. That is, the cycle could be broken. That bondage could be burned through the right knowledge, the right practice, and the grace of a realized Guru. This is the promise of karma Vināśana. Now, let us go deeper into the precise understanding of karma as revealed in the sacred science of Sri Vidya Upasana Tantra. The word karma comes from the Sanskrit root meaning the action, right? In its most essential meaning, karma refers to action and more specifically to the energetic residue that action leaves behind in the subtle fabric of being's consciousness. But in the tantric understanding, karma is not simply a record of past deeds. It's something, it is something more, far more dynamic, far more alive, and far more penetrating. Karma operates through the Sukshma Sarira, the subtle body, the non physical vehicle of consciousness that carries the impression of all past experience across all lifetime, across all dimensions, and across all dimensions of existence. In the sacred text of our tradition, karma is understood to operate through three primary layers. As you know, The first, Sañcita Karma. The Sañcita means accumulated. This is the vast reservoir of all karmic impressions. Every action, thought, emotion, and intention from countless lifetimes stored in the deep layers of subtle body. Think of this as a cosmic database, a vast archive of energetic potential waiting to manifest. The Sanchita is like a seed bank. Most seeds remain dormant, but certain conditions, certain alignments of time, place, and consciousness activate specific seeds for manifestation. The second, as we know, Prārabdha Karma. The Prārabdha means that which has already begun. This is the portion of Sañcita Karma which we discussed that has already been activated, that has already begun its process of manifestation in the present lifetime, right now. Your birth circumstances, your family, your body type, your fundamental life challenges, and the gifts. These are the repenting of Prārabdha Karma. The Prārabdha Karma cannot be entirely avoided in this lifetime, but it can be navigated with far less, far less suffering when one carries the light of understanding and the power of spiritual practices. The third, Āgāmi Karma. The Āgāmi means the which is coming, going to come. This is the this is the karma being generated in the present moment through every action, thought, emotion, and intention you are creating right now. The Āgāmi Karma becomes the future Sañcita. So this is why the quality of consciousness you being to every moment is so profoundly important. You are not only living your past karma, you are simultaneously creating your future karma with every breath, every choice, every vibration of mind and heart. Now, within this entire architecture of karma, there exists the most crucial concept for our teaching today, the karma Vināśana. The word vasanas. We must know before entering to the karma Vināśana, we must know the karma vasanas. The word vasana comes from the Sanskrit root meaning fragrance or the scent. Just as a fragrance permits cloth and lingers long after the flower is gone. So to do karma vasanas permit the subtle body and continue to influence consciousness long after the original actions have passed. Karma vasanas are the subtle energetic imprints, the residual pattern, tendencies, and impressions left by past karma in the layers of the subtle body. They are not merely memories, they are living energetic programs, actively shaping the perception, emotional response, behavioral patterns, and the quality of life circumstances that one continue that one continues to attract. Let us understand where karma vasana reside in the architecture of the human being. The ancient Vedic and Tantric science describe the human being not as a single body, but as a nested system of five kosas, the five seats of layers of consciousness. The Annamaya kosa, the physical body sustained by food, the pranamaya kosa, the vital or pranic body, the field of life force energy. Then the manomaya kosa, the mental emotional body, the seat of thought and feeling. Then Vijnanamaya kosa, the wisdom body, the seat of discernment, and deeper intelligence than after Anandamaya Kosa, the bliss body, the casual seat closest to pure consciousness. The karma vasanas does not reside merely in the physical or mental body. They penetrate all five kosas. The deepest and most stubborn vasanas reside in Anandamaya kosa, the casual body. Right? Where they operate as the seeds of destiny, shaping reality from the most fundamental level. This, this is the precisely why conventional therapies, whether physical, psychological, or behavioral, are often insufficient to fully dissolve deeply embedded karmic patterns. They address the outer sets, the physical and mental, but it does not reach the casual and pranic layers where the root impressions actually reside. Now, here is profound questions. How do you know if you are carrying heavy karma vasanas? This is the question from everyone. The signs are unmistakable. A repeated suffering. When the same type of problem, the same type of pain, the same type of obstacles returns again and again, despite sincere efforts to change it. This is the signature of karma vasanas. And second, unexplained emotional burdens like deep-seated fears, griefs, angers, or anxieties that have no clear origin in this lifetime yet feel ancient, embedded, immovable. These are the echoes of vasanas from earlier existence. Then the family suffering. When certain patterns of illness, financial struggle, broken relationships, or mental disturbances repeat across multiple generations of a family. This points to ancestral and collective karma operating through the lineage. Then, the recurring negativity. When life seems to attract difficulty disproportionate to one's actions or intentions, when good efforts consistently yield poor results, when the environment seems to resist one's sincere endeavors, the karma vasanas are exerting their gravitational pull. Then later come to the spiritual stagnation. When, despite sincere sadhana, one cannot break through into deeper state of consciousness. When meditation remains shallow, when mantra feels dry, when the Guru's grace seems blocked. Often there are karmic obstructions in the subtle body that must first be dissolved. These are not signs of weakness. These are not signs of divine punishment. These are signals, deeply young, compassionate signals from the intelligence of existence that karmic patterns are ready to be seen, addressed, and dissolved. And this is precisely where karma Vināśana enters. Now, for those of for those of you who are drawn to the interface of ancient wisdom and modern science, let us pause here for a moment and explore something extraordinary. The modern neuroscience and epigenetics have begun to discover through entirely different methods, exactly what the rishis described as karma vasanas. Consider epigenetics, the science of how gene expression is regulated, not just by the DNA code itself, but by chemical tags and signals that can be turned on or off by experience. Researchers have not documented with reproducible data that traumatic experiences can alter gene expression patterns and that these altered patterns can be inherited by descendants even up to several generations later. In other words, the experiences of your ancestors, their sufferings, their unresolved traumas, their patterns of fear and grief are not merely stored in your family history. They are literally encoded in your epigenome, influencing your emotional responses, your trust, reactions, your health vulnerabilities, without any conscious choice on your part. The ancient science called this Pitru Dosha, the karmic inheritance from the ancestral lineage. The modern epigenetic calls it transgenerational epigenetic inheritance, right? Different language, the same profound reality. Now, consider the default mode network. A network of brain, the network of brain region that becomes active when the mind is not engaged in focused external tasks. The neuroscientists have discovered that the default mode network is the seat of self-referential thought, the internal narrative we carry about who we are, what we deserve, what is possible, what is dangerous. This network, when conditioned by repeated negative experiences or unresolved traumas, generates what neuroscientists call ruminative thought loops, the repetitive patterns of thought and emotions that reinforce a fixed and often limiting self-concept. What the neuroscientists call ruminative thought loops, the rishis called karma vasanas. The same phenomena deeply embedded energetic patterns that replay themselves automatically, shaping perception and behavior from beneath conscious awareness. And consider neuroplasticity, perhaps the most hopeful discovery of modern brain science. The principle that brain and neural system are not fixed. They can be literally rewired through experience, practice, and intentional cultivation of new states of consciousness. The advanced meditators or practitioners of deep mantra sadhana and Tantra Yoga show measurably different brain architecture than the general population. Their prefrontal cortex, the seat of higher discernment and Anya Chakra, shows significantly greater development. Their amygdala, the seat of the fear response, corresponding to Mooladhara, shows measurably reduced reactivity. What neuroscience calls neuroplasticity, the Tantric science calls karma Vināśana through the sadhana. The literal restructuring of the subtle body through conscious spiritual practice. The ancient rishis mapped this territory thousands of years ago with the precision of master cartographers. Modern science is now finding the same territory through its own instruments. Both points to the same conclusions. Karma can be transformed, the patterns can be dissolved, the bondage can be burned through the karma vinasana. Now, let us enter the specific territory of what are known as the karma dosas, particular patterns of karmic affliction that the traditions has named, mapped, and for which specific remedial process have been revealed through the Guru Parampara. These are not superstitions. These are not fearful labels. These are rises diagnostic categorized in the ancient science of karmic architecture, pointing to the specific types of energetic blockages that require specific approaches for dissolution. Let us explore the three primary dosa addressed in our karma Vināśana process. One is the Pitru Dosha, the number one, then the Manglik, the karmic fire, then the Kala Sarpa Dosha. Right? So, let us discuss about the Pitru Dosha. The word Pitru means ancestors, specifically the souls of departed family members and lineage holders. The dosa means a flow, an affliction, or an energetic imbalance. Pitru dosa arises when there are unresolved karmic accounts between the living and the departed souls of one's lineage. When ancestors have not received proper spiritual rites, have departed with unresolved sufferings, or have accumulated karmic debts that they were unable to discharge during their lifetimes. These unresolved energies don't simply disappear at death, they remain connected to the family field, exerting influence on the consciousness and the circumstances of the living descendants. How does Pitru Dosha manifest? We must know that, right? In persistent family patterns that repeat across generations, the same type of illness appearing again and again in the lineage, the same type of financial disruptions, the same type of broken relationships. These are the symptoms of Pitru Dosha. In recurring dreams of deceased family members in distress, in unexplained emotional heaviness, particularly around certain dates or anniversaries, in difficulty conceiving children, the lineage energy becomes congested, in obstacles to prosperity despite sincere effort. The tradition teaches that the first duty of a spiritual practitioner before advancing to higher level of sadhana is the proper honoring and energetic liberation of the ancestral lineage. When the Pitrus are at the peace, their blessings become a powerful current lifting the entire family. The modern epigenetics confirms that the rishis knew we carry our ancestors within us. Their unresolved patterns live in our cells. Their liberation is also ours and our duties. The planet Mars, associated with the Manglik Dosha, in Tamil is Sevvai Dosha, the karmic fire in the spiritual language. The planet Mars, known as Mangala in Sanskrit and Sevvai in Tamil, is the planetary regent of vital force, willpower, courage, and action. In Vedic astrology, Mars holds profound influences over the karmic patterns related to relationships, partnerships, and the quality of one's vital energy in this lifetime. The Manglik Dosha, also known as Chava Dosha, arises when Mars is positioned in certain houses of the natal chart, the first, fourth, seventh, eighth, or 12th. This planetary configuration is understood to carry specific karmic imprints related to relationship dynamics, or the marital harmony, conflict patterns, and the expression of vital forces. It is deeply important to understand that this dosha is not a curse, it is a karmic signal. It indicates that in this or previous lifetimes, certain patterns of aggression or possessiveness, unfulfilled desires in relationship, or misuse of vital force have created impressions that now require conscious attention and purification. When Manglik dosha is active, one may experience repeated difficulties in forming and sustaining harmonious partnerships. Conflict may arise with seemingly disproportionate intensity. The vital force may express itself in unbalanced ways, either as excessive aggression or as complete exhaustion and passivity. Important life milestones, particularly the marriage, may face repeated delays or disruptions. The karmic, the karma vasana are here we have to dilute. The karma vinasana process address this dosa through specific mantra sakti aligned with the purification of Mars field in the subtle body, dissolving the underlying vasanas and restoring the vital force to its natural state of empowered harmony. The third one is Kala Sarpa Dosa, the serpent of karmic destiny. Of all the dosas recognized in the Vedic astrological tradition, Kala Sarpa Dosa carries perhaps the most important karmic weight. The Kala means time, the absolute force of Mahakala, the Lord of cosmic time. Sarpa means the serpent, the primal force of karma Sakti itself, coiled in the depths of one's destiny. Dosa, the affliction, the imbalance. The Kala Sarpa dosa arises when all seven classical planets, Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn, are positioned in between the axis of Rahu and Ketu in the natal chart. Rahu is the north node of the Moon, the point of karmic desire, worldly ambition, and the pull of future evolution. The Ketu is the south node, the point of karmic incursions, past life impressions, renunciation, and spiritual depth. When all planets fall between these axes, the entire field of one's planetary karmic influences becomes held as if within the coils of a great serpent. This configuration indicates a lifetime of profound karmic significance, a soul that has taken birth specifically to resolve deep and far reaching karmic patterns. There is often an intensity to such lives, great potential, but also significant obstacles, profound spiritual hunger, but also recurring worldly frustration, exceptional gift, but also exceptional challenges. The Kaal Sabdosa is not a death sentence, it is a calling. It calls the soul towards its deepest work. It says, the lifetime matters profoundly for you and for the many whose karma is connected to yours. When properly addressed through the karma vinasana process, through the specific mantra kriyas aligned with Rahu Kedu and the Naga Shaktis, the Kala Sarpa configuration transforms from an obstacle into an extraordinary force for spiritual acceleration. The serpent of karma becomes the serpent of Kundalini. The bondage of destiny becomes the highway of liberation. This is the profound alchemy that our Guruji's grace makes possible. Beyond these three great dosas, Karma Vinasana addresses two further and deeply prevalent categories of karmic suffering that affects countless seekers in our time. The first is mental and emotional disturbances rooted in karmic origin. And keep talking. Are you listening or what you people are doing?
Yes, Guruji. Discernment.
Is it
Listening,
understandable
Guruji.
or
Sir,
It is
is it
understandable.
understandable?
Yes, Guruji.
Okay. Let us move. Beyond these three great dosas, the Karma Vinasana addresses two further and deeply prevalent categories of karmic suffering that affects countless seekers in our lifetime. The first is mental and emotional disturbance rooted in karmic origin. We live in an era of unprecedented psychological suffering, anxiety, depression, chronic fear, unshakable grief, obsessive thought patterns, emotional numbness, inexplicable rage. These have become epidemic in the modern world. And while modern psychology and psychiatry offer important support, they frequently encounter the limits of their frameworks when addressing what are ultimately karmic disturbances of the subtle body. In the Sri Vidya understanding, the Manomaya Kosa, the mental, the emotional seat, can become severely congested with karma vasanas that generate persistent disturbance in mental functions and emotional regulation. These are not merely biochemical imbalances, they are energetic blockages, the vasanas, logged in the subtle body, generating interference patterns that destabilize the nervous system, cloud the mind, and cut the individual off from their natural state of joy, clarity, and inner peace. The karma vasana, the karma vinasana process through mantra shakti operates directly at the level of the pranamaya and manomaya kosa, dissolving these energetic blockages and allowing the natural luminosity of consciousness to re-emerge. The second is repeated failure and delays. One of the most psychologically devastating expressions of karmic obstructions. When a person works sincerely, thinks clearly, acts rightly, and yet again and again finds their efforts failing, their projects stalling, their opportunities collapsing at the final moment. This is the unmistakable signature of deep karmic obstruction. These individuals are not lacking in the intelligence. sincerity, or effort, they are carrying the karmic weight in their energy field. That is generating resistance between their conscious intentions and their manifest outcomes. It is like trying to drive with a handbrake engaged. The engine of their consciousness is fully running, but an invisible force holds them back. The ancient tradition is absolutely clear. This invisible force is addressable, dissolvable, and transformable through the signs of karma Vināśana. Before we go further, I want to pause and offer something that is perhaps the most liberating insight in this entire teaching. Karma is not your prison. This needs to be heard. This needs to be learned deeply. In the popular imagination, in folk religion, in fearful superstition, karma is often presented as an inescapable prison sentence. You did this in your past life. Now you must suffer it. There is nothing you can do. This is your fate, right? This is a profound misunderstanding of the teaching. The sacred signs of Sri Vidya and indeed all authentic tantric and Vedic transmissions teach us something radically different. Karma is not punishment. Karma is cosmic balance. The universe is not punishing you. The universe is offering you through the return of karmic impressions exactly the material you need for your deepest evolution. Every obstacle carries within the seed of the exact breakthrough you most needed. Every suffering points towards the exact vasana that is ready to be dissolved. Every repeated pattern is a compassionate invitation from consciousness itself, saying, here, look here, this is where your liberations wait. The Guru's transmissions makes this understanding experiential, not merely intellectual. In the light of the Guru's grace, karma is seen for what it truly is, not a prison sentence, but a curriculum of consciousness, not bondage, but an invitation to the kind of freedom that can never be taken away. Karma is not your prison, it is your opportunity for transformation. And this is transformation. This burning of karmic bondage is what karma Vināśana makes possible. So, what exactly is karma Vināśana? The word Vināśana comes from the root of vinas, meaning to dissolve, to destroy completely, to cause to disappear. This is not the gradual fading of karma over long stretches of time. This is the conscious, intentional, accelerated dissolution of karmic impressions through the application of specific spiritual forces. Karma Vināśana is a profound spiritual process revealed through the grace of the Guru Parampara from the luminous lineage that flows through our beloved Guruji, specifically for the dissolution of karma Vināśana, specifically for the dissolution of karma vasanas, the karmic breakages and negative energetic patterns and the burdens accumulated across lifetimes. It operates through four primary forces, each of which address different layers of karmic architecture. The first and most fundamental force is the karma Vināśana is mantra Sakti, the power of sacred sound vibration. The tantric understanding, mantra is not merely a religious recitation. The mantra is a specific pattern of pranic vibration, right? Yeah, precise sonic configuration that, when activated through proper initiation and sincere practices, penetrates the subtle body and directly addresses the vibrational frequencies of specific karma vasanas. This is not metaphor. This is the precise science of the tantric tradition. Every karma vasana has a specific energetic frequency, a vibrational signature embedded in the subtle body. Specific mantras carry counter frequencies, sound patterns that resonate with and dissolve the vasana's imprint, the way a particular musical frequency can shatter the glass. The Bija mantras of the Sri Sri Vidya tradition, like Aim, Greem, Sreem, Cream, Clean, Stream, and the great Mahavidya mantras are not random syllabus. They are primordial sonic keys, patterns of vibration that align consciousness with specific aspects of Parasaktis and the intelligence, dissolving the obstacles and impressions that prevent the natural flow of her grace. Modern physics has confirmed that everything in existence is at its most fundamental level. Vibration, pattern, and patterns of energy in motion within a unified field. The mantra science of Tantra operates precisely at this level, working not on symptoms but on the vibrational root of karmic patterns. This is very important, must have to understand everyone. The modern physics can confirm that everything in existence is at its most fundamental level, vibration, the patterns of energy in motion within a unified field. The mantra science of Tantra operates precisely at this level, working not on symptoms but on the vibrational root of karmic patterns. The second force is Tantra Kriya, sacred ritual action aligned with cosmic principles. The word Kriya means action, but in the Tantric context, it refers to a highly specific types of sacred action. The action performed with perfect alignment of body, breath, intention, mantra, and inner awareness. The action that becomes a vehicle for the descent of higher consciousness. Tantra Kriya is the karma Vināśana. Context includes specific ritual process prescribed by the tradition for the dissolution of karmic blockages, offering to the fire, the homa, specific mudra sequences, prescribed puja protocols, sacred geometry activation, the Yantra puja, and energy work practices designed to physically discharge karmic residue from the pranic field. These are not merely symbolic gestures. When performed in the precise manner, transmitted through the Guru Parampara with the proper mantra activation, the proper inner attitude, and the proper energetic alignment, Tantra Kriya create real measurable shifts in the subtle body. Pranic blockages are literally dislodged. Energetic congestion is dissolved. the kosas are purified. The third force is the invocation of divine blessings through Sri Vidya Upasana, the direct activation of Parasakti's grace through her specific tantric forms. In Sri Vidya tradition, the Maha Tripura Sundari, the Supreme Shakti, the cosmic consciousness in her most luminous form, is understood as the ground of all existence. Karma, karma, vasanas, and dosas, all of this arises within her. They are not separate from her. They are her own creative play, her leela, through which the individual soul evolves towards the ultimate reunion with the source. When the Parasakti grace is invoked through her mantra, through her yantra, through her tantra, she acts directly on the karmic architecture, not as an external force intervening from outside, but as the very intelligence of consciousness itself, illuminating the darkness of vasanas with the light of her own awareness. The specific tantric forms invoked in this karma vinasana process include the fierce grace of Varahi, the cosmic force that destroys enemies at the root, dissolving not just the outer expressions of karma, but its deepest casual seeds, and the all pervading grace of Parasakti, Maha Tripura Sundari herself, the ultimate force of liberation. And the fourth force, the most essential, the most transformative, the one that makes all others possible, is Sri Guru Kripa, the grace of the realized Guru. In every authentic spiritual tradition, from the Vedic to Tantric to the Siddha, it is universally recognized that certain karmic knots are so deeply embedded, operating at such a fundamental level of the causal body, that they cannot be dissolved by the individual's effort alone, no matter how sincere the practice, no matter how dedicated the sadhaka, no matter how powerful the mantra. There are karmic imprints that sit beyond the reach of the practitioner's own consciousness to access and dissolve. This is not a failure of practitioner. This is simply the nature of deep karmic architecture. The very awareness that needs to dissolve the vasanas itself to some degree, colored and limited by the vasana. It is like trying to see the back of your own head without a mirror. The Guru is that mirror. The Guru is a being whose consciousness has burned through its own karmic architecture to the point of fundamental transparency, through whom the light of Parasakti flows without obstruction. And in the transmission of that grace, through the Guru's intention, the Guru's mantra, the Guru's gaze, the Guru's blessings, karmic knots that no individual effort could reach become accessible to dissolution. This is the meaning of Diksha, initiation. This is the meaning of the Guru Shishya relationship. This is why every authentic tantric tradition holds the Guru as the supreme necessary factor in the process of liberation. Our beloved Guruji, Sri Purna, Sri Vidyaranya Parabrahma Mahasiddha Guru, Managurunathan, carries this grace in its full and living potency. His Guru Kripa is not a theory, it is a tangible, experiential reality that practitioners of this tradition have witnessed and received time and again and again and again. When the Guru's grace descends, the karma Vināśana becomes not merely a process but a transmission, a direct dissolution of karmic bondage through the current of Shakti flowing through the Guru's awareness. This is the supreme gift of the Guru Parampara. Now, let us speak about what actually happened when karma is purified. What does transformation feels like? What can a sincere seeker expect as the process of karma vinasana takes effort in their life? The tradition is precise and consistent about this, and the testimony of practitioners across countless generations confirms what the text described. The consciousness becomes lighter. The first and most immediate sign of karmic purification is a tangible lightness, as though a weight you have been carrying so long you forget it was that has finally been set down. The people describe feeling physically lighter, emotionally clear, mentally less burdened. The energy of daily life begin to feel less effortful. This is the pranic body releasing the congestion of old vasanas. The mind becomes clearer. As karmic impression dissolve, the mental field that they were restoring begins to clear. The ruminative loops quiet. The obsessive thoughts lost their compulsive power. Their inner critic, which was often the voice of old karmic conditioning, speaking, becomes less dominant. Clarity emerges, not forced, not forced clarity, but the natural luminosity of a consciousness no longer obscured by dense vasanas layer. The third, life begins to flow with greater harmony. This is perhaps the most tangible outer sign and the one that often most surprise people. When karmic patterns that were generating resistance in the energetic or the energy field are dissolved, the outer circumstances of life begin to reorganize naturally. Opportunities that were consistently blocked begin it begin to open. Relationships that were frozen in conflict begin to throw and evolve. Financial flows that were congested begin to move. The sense of life being stuck, which was the felt experience of karmic obstructions, gives way to a sense of organic forward movement. This is not magic, this is physics, the physics of consciousness. When an obstruction in the energy field is removed, the natural current of life force can flow freely again. Then, the divine grace becomes more accessible. This is the deepest transformation and the one that our Guru places above all others. When the karmic layers are thinned, when the destiny of vasanas that was creating static between the individual consciousness and the Parasakti field begins to dissolve, the experience of grace becomes immediate, tangible, and unmistakable. Meditation deepens spontaneously. Mantra vibrates with felt presence rather than mechanical repetition. And the inner guidance becomes clear and more reliable. The sense of separation from the divine, which is the root suffering of all human existence, begins to dissolve, and the practitioners begin to experience not as a concept but as a living reality, what the Tantric tradition has always proclaimed. That the consciousness in its original nature is free and pure and luminous, externally at peace, right? The Satchidananda, being consciousness, bliss, as the fundamental ground of one's own existence. This is the ultimate fruit of karma vinasana. This is what our Guru Parampara, or our Sri Guru's grace makes available to each and every sincere seeker. My dear seekers, we have traveled deeply together in this teaching today, from Newton's third law to the Rishi's perception of karma as the self-correcting intelligence of consciousness itself, from the architecture of Sañcita, Prārabdha, and the Āgāmi Karma to the subtle mechanism of karma vasanas embedded in the five kosas, from the specific dosas like Pitru Dosha, Manglik Dosha, Kalasatva Dosha to the four great forces of karma vasanas, the Mantra Sakti, Tantra Kriya, divine blessings, and Guru Kripa. And we have glimpsed the extraordinary transformation that awaits on the other side of karmic purification. Now, the question is simple. What is holding you back from calming this transformation? Whatever brought you to this teaching today, whether it was the recognition of repeated patterns in your own life, or the suffering of your family, the weight of obstacles that simply will not move, or the deep inner knowing that you are meant for something greater than what you have so far been able to manifest. Whatever brought you here, honor it. That pull toward liberation is not accidental. It is the Guru's grace already at work in your life, drawing you toward the teaching, the process, and the community that can support your highest unfolding. Karma is not your prison. You are not condemned to repeat what has been. You have, in this very moment, the opportunity to do what the most courageous souls throughout history have done. To say, enough, I am ready. I choose transformation. Thank you to all of you. So, we discussed very deeply and scientifically about karma vinasana, the process, and the same thing has written in our website page also. So most of us is not who's need chicken shawarma yaar. Need chaya, chicken shawarma, chaya. Right. So anybody have any doubts? So this is not new what we discussed here. Already I have written very deeply in our website, the page, the Karma Vinasana. Most of us is not able to read it, or we have no sufficient time because we are running in the corporate world, or else we have no the patience to read it. So I tried to give it in the short form today. I hope all of you has understood. If you are not able to understand it, again visit our webpage, Karma Vināśana or Karma. You can find very deep, very deeply written document which has given the wonderful experience to you while you are reading. So thank you all of you. You can raise your questions if you have any. Otherwise, we will jump to Karma Vināśana process.
I have a question.
Hello?
Hello, this is Chandra. I have a question.
Yep.
So we seem like we have identified with something. And
Your voice is breaking. We are not able to hear you.
okay. So it seems like we have identified with something, and as we disidentify and identify with our true self, the karma disappears. Will that be correct?
என்ன சொல்றாரு? Break ஆகுது. We are not able to understand. It's breaking your voice. You do one thing. You write it in the WhatsApp. I will reply on that. Anybody else?
I'll send it.
No, actually, we are not able to hear you properly. Your voice is breaking. You can write it either in the voicemail or in the text. I will reply in the WhatsApp. So